So we're going to get into a nice nuanced bag with this one right here. As in this current media landscape with the NBA players having their podcasts, there is a certain blind spot that they do have when discussing leading scorers and their impact. This season has been a rude awakening for a lot of NBA fans when we're seeing some of our favorite stars like Ja Morant, Trae Young, LaMelo Ball be put up on the trade block, but very few teams are interested, and this is regardless of their resume. Trae Young was basically traded as a salary dump, even though he put in 4 great all-star seasons without having another co-star on the same level. Also within that time span, the NBA had tweaked the rules a little bit back in 2021, taking away those non-basketball moves. Guys like James Harden and Trae Young used to really cook with that. No more arm hooking and just baiting guys into fouls, just landing sideways after taking a three-point shot. All that gimmicky shit has been taken out the way. And let's not forget, just a few seasons ago, when everybody was having those 70-point games, especially after Luka had went off against the Hawks, the NBA had met up with their competition committee and tightened up the defensive rules. Certain players did make their adjustments, guys like Jalen Brunson and James Harden, who have more girth. These guys have much more of a stockier build than Trae Young. So there's definitely a lot of nuance to this situation right here. And the fellas from Gilbert Arenas' crew has sat down and spoke about the nuances of certain leading scorers not necessarily having the same impact. And the blind spot that certain players have when discussing this topic was very apparent right here. Kenyon Martin was put in a real tough position where he almost had to admit the truth about another leading scorer that was on his team, Carmelo Anthony. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Him going to Washington, you building around him, it's the same shit that you did in to Knicks, it's the same shit that you did in fucking Atlanta, right? Put him around better pieces, and I think you get a different person.
Do you get a better person?
You get a different person.
Do you get a better person?
Who was that person that made it to the Eastern Conference
It was
Finals?
the style of play that allowed him to be him on a team where he could be a 25-10 guy. That was my team situation.
Yeah, we don't know what the situations are there for who knows.
History shows to us that star players who go play with other star players and have to take a back seat do not become better players.
That is facts. Rashad McCants is getting into a bag right here. And this show is much better off without Gilbert Arenas chiming in because he tries to protect players a little bit too much. He's going to need a nice kind of high-flying person to run pick and roll with, because if he doesn't have a nice rim runner, him getting into that floater game, I don't know if all the injuries or just minor knick-knack surgeries that he's had in the past couple of seasons kind of slowed him down, but he does not get to that floater game like he used to. But we'll see, because Alex Sarr right now for the Washington Wizards, he's looking like he's on the come up.
Who said better?
Who said that?
Who said
better? Who said it? Historic. I asked that question. I said better. You said different. I said better.
And that's what it is. So that's you put him in a different situation, you get a different person.
But that's what I'm saying. You're not going to get a better player. If he's going to go somewhere else and not become a better player, why not go somewhere where you can become a better player?
Where is that?
What makes you a better
player?
Now, what makes you a better player is not having your team compete to get into their possible 5th straight play-in, which would have ended up playing out for the Hawks this season had Trae Young had stayed there. Also, another thing that's plaguing a lot of stars like LaMelo Ball, Ja Morant, and Trae Young is the rise of the global talent pool that's coming into these drafts. We're talking about guys from the late first round all the way through the second, and even undrafted are making an impact. Look at Austin Reeves, he's gone undrafted and he's about to be eligible for a $100 million contract. Also, Jalen Brunson and Jokic, as late first round picks, are leading stars of their team. There's a lot of things accumulating all at once. And when you look at LaMelo Ball out in Charlotte, he's dealing with Brandon Miller and Knipple trying to raise their stock. And best believe the Hornets are looking at the situation, how it played out with the Hawks and the rise of Jalen Johnson. Once they got Trae Young out the way, that offense looked pretty competent. And not only that, the other developing talent that they also had can now elevate.
If he's in Atlanta and he's getting 25 and 10, and he goes somewhere else and those numbers drop, does he become a better player?
If they're winning.
Now, if they're not winning,
and he averaging 18.
And you basically sacrifice those points.
If he's not winning,
what is he sacrificing?
Okay, y'all just said yes if he's winning, so say no when he's not winning.
So what
I
is he
can make
sacrificing?
sure we all on the same accord.
So what is he sacrificing?
He's sacrificing the risk of going to a team, regulating his shit like a Dame Lillard, and they still losing.
That happened.
And then you have to go back to a situation where you're gonna be the man again so you can get your shit back. That's a risk.
Basketball.
We look at Melo. You look at Melo. You look at Paul George. You look at Bradley Beal. You look at all of these different guys who went to places where other guys were good. They didn't become better versions of themselves.
Facts. It's normally never gonna happen that way because where you were drafted, it's a different kind of love and patience that they have for you. But the real question is, why is Trae Young in his very prime years willing to go to a Washington Wizards team who's pretty much been in NBA purgatory for almost, since the John Wall days?
What are you talking about? Melo made all NBA team when he went to New York.
So when
I'm not talking about New York.
Well, that was his change.
No, I'm talking about after that. I'm talking about Houston.
So that ain't, he went from Denver, he went from Denver
but he
to
wasn't
New York.
NBA, he wasn't all-star.
This is Trae's first move. This will be Trae's first move.
I'm not talking about that, though.
So we talk, this is
But I'm not talking about that.
Well,
I'm not talking about that.
So you don't want to talk about facts.
I'm not talking about
You don't
that.
want to talk about
No,
facts.
I'm talking about what I'm talking about. I'm not
I don't want to talk about that.
But they
Hey, hey, Kmart, man, I feel you. You don't want to get into the nitty gritty of what that was really about. Once Melo went to OKC, things were never ever going to be the same. And that exact scenario is where Trae Young is at right now, even though he's a little bit younger. The fact that the Hawks were not winning with multiple variations of their team. And also, they were headed to possibly their 5th straight play-in season. The proof is in the pudding. The Hawks couldn't even find a team president in the last 3 seasons. That's how that whole situation with Trae Young is kind of it's a little bit of a clusterfuck. It's kind of a situation that no one wants to put their foot in. Every NBA team since 2020 have been climbing up in net worth, but yet the Hawks can't find a team president for 3 seasons. Nobody wants that job.
get out the conversation. I'm talking with
We don't talk about that.
So I'm talking about when this nigga go to here. When Melo went here,
he went to New York Knicks.
When PG left,
he went to New York Knicks.
when he left the motherfucking Pacers,
And
He
when
was
where?
on MVP.
His first move.
regulated.
But he-
Because who was he playing with? He had his best years, but he wasn't the better version of who he was in Indiana.
He finished third in MVP voting that year.
Wasn't the better version. He
How not?
PG was PG in Indiana. That's what got him 90 million. That's what got him the money. That's what got him recognition.
So what?
Yeah, I see where McCants is getting at because PG could not be PG in OKC because that team belonged to Westbrook. The same way Trae Young is going to Washington, but they already have their set of young guys that they're trying to develop. Once again, with stars, once you leave that team that you originally drafted in, it's not going to be the same love. That's probably one of the reasons why we see Ja Morant is kind of singing a different tune right now, wanting to stay in Memphis. Speaking of Memphis, just like the Charlotte Hornets, they have a lot of young talent. You're looking at Zach Edey, Cedric, Jalen Wells, and Santi. This is what it is today. The influx of global talent coming into the league is so big that it's really going to benefit the smaller market teams who already rely more heavily on development. And guys like Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball, they're going to have much added pressure to perform, especially on their rookie max extensions. The same scenario eventually is going to come up for Paolo Banchero down in Orlando.
Did he finish
went down
MVP
from
vote?
there.
Did he finish MVP voting in Indiana?
I don't remember.
So he finished, well, if you don't remember, the facts are he finished MVP voting in OKC.
And what happened after
Finished
that?
third.
That
So
year
he's a
in
better version
OKC,
of
what
himself.
happened?
So what are you saying?
Did he go lower after that
So what are you
MVP?
saying? So what are you saying?
Did he go lower after that?
He went
older, though.
in the
After-
MVP conversation.
After
when
the
he moved.
MVP conversation.
So your point
Did
is
he go
what?
down?
So your point is
You
what?
talked about an old Melo.
So your point is
No,
what? That's what
I'm like, come
How
on,
old is-
man.
how old is Trae?
Yes.
Trace 27, 28
Come
years
on,
old.
man.
Okay, so the same age.
No.
The same ages.
No.
And he had a
Yeah, Melo was in his early 30s in OKC. I believe he was about 31 or 32. And Paul George was still relatively in his prime, but once again, he'll never get the same kind of ability to play with a certain level of freedom, knowing that you have the keys to the franchise. After the season where he finished top 3 in MVP voting, it pretty much remained stagnant or just went downhill from there.
Melo went to New York first.
Tore his ACL.
Regardless.
Trey turned 27 in September.
Melo did go to
Talk about their first move.
Listen.
Talk about their first move.
Regardless is when you go to a team with better teammates.
Ain't no regardless nothing.
Your
MVP vote.
Your actual performance is risky. It's risky for you to go up or go down. History has shown it.
Okay.
Period.
Basketball, though.
So what's
Period. So he has a risky choice to make.
And let's not get it twisted. Also for Luka Doncic, it is a risky move that he's in LA. The Lakers maximizing his prime years is not a guarantee. We're slowly going to find that out, especially with Rob Pelinka not knowing what the fuck is he doing.
To go with a team like Houston and regulate his fucking stats and his performances to a risky-ass situation where it's like, man, are you still the Trae Young that you used to be?
You want to go
the same shit that happened with Dame.
Safe where he can shoot every shot he wants. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, basically. So
you getting every
but
shot
the
don't
point
mean
that
that
he's
your performance is better.
You
So what was he doing in Atlanta? What was the reason he was a 4-time All-Star?
Because
he was winning, too.
Because he's what?
He was hooping.
Not because he's hooping.
They was
Y'all
winning,
niggas
though.
is so weird.
He was hooping. I just said
Who was on his team, though?
Hey, Rashad McCants is in a bag right here. Once again, Trae Young is in a list of very few NBA players to make consecutive All-Star appearances with no other co-star. We got Michael Jordan, Mitch Richmond, John Wall, Jokic, and Trae Young. So he did have the breathing room to just do him. And let's not forget, in 2021, the NBA had dialed back a lot of those non-offensive basketball moves that was just drawing so many fouls. Guys landing sideways when they take jumpers, just stepping backwards into someone while shooting. All those non-basketball moves had to get the fuck up out of here. And the rules were so slanted in the side of the offense that the league had to dial it back even further in 2024 with Luka having a 71-point game, Embiid. It just seemed like every other week somebody was hitting 65 plus points per game. Adaptation for Trae in today's game is a must.
So they made him an All-Star?
Goddamn, man, let's talk. Who was on his team? Yes, he was doing his own thing. He had his own style of
made
play.
him an All-Star.
Yes.
His teammates made him an All-Star.
Nobody was on his team. It was just Trae Young show.
11 assists.
Yes, 11 assists to Luka, Clint Capella.
And 25.
And they was winning, though.
No, listen, bro.
He averaged 25 and 11.
They went to the
What did they win?
But nobody
What
else
did they
All-Star on his
win?
team.
They went to the Eastern Conference
What
Finals.
did they win,
But
nigga?
nobody else on All-Star.
Everybody that
You
been
just
here
gonna shrug
did
your
it.
shoulders and deflect. What did they win?
They went to the Eastern Conference
They
Finals.
went to-
What did they win?
They went to the Eastern Conference
So I
Finals.
just
Talking to a
give
goddamn
you
brick
information.
wall.
Trey's first year as an All-Star.
Who
What
won?
did they win?
Trey's
Who
first.
else won?
Yeah.
Who and who?
T was on that squad.
Who and who? He carried them, right?
So he was an All-Star.
I'm carrying them.
So who made him
Because
an
it's my
All-Star?
style of
So who
play.
made him an All-Star?
But you had John Collins
He
down to
made him an
22 and 7.
No, I thought you just said his teammates did.
No, I didn't.
That's the fuck you did.
He said he didn't have a team, nigga.
You just said this. I said
No,
the
he
team made him
didn't
an
have a
All-Star.
team.
You said yes.
His style of play made the team.
You said yes.
No, I
nigga.
didn't.
Yes, you did. You
Yeah.
said yes.
Y'all niggas shake y'all head no before I finish the fucking statement. Y'all I'm not listening to y'all niggas.
This nigga
Y'all
said
haven't even
yes.
finished the statement. Y'all already saying no.
I said if his team
No,
made him an All-Star, and you said yes.
Come on, man.
I heard him say that.
And you
Listen,
I heard him ask that
his
question.
teammates did not make him. He made the All-Star because there was no one on his team. I literally said that.
No,
he was
no.
the system.
No,
There, and
that
I
ain't
asked
what
y'all
you-
who was
you
on
ain't
his
said
team.
none of that shit,
I asked
nigga.
y'all who was on his team,
You
and y'all
ain't said
sat
nothing
there.
about no fucking system
Y'all
or
sat there
nothing.
like this.
Better
You
than
talking about
that.
the same players that helped him get to the Eastern Conference Finals? Nick,
With that style.
Nick, you talking about them guys?
He made it.
He made it, right? With those guys, right?
He made it.
Who are those guys that he made it with? Are they all-stars?
made
No. They are the same niggas that the Washington Wizards.
Nah.
So what?
Collins
So
is-
what?
They're the same niggas that the Washington Wizards.
Make
I'm
you.
trying to
That he can go to the Washington
We're trying to
Wizards
figure out
and
what point
still
you make.
build around him.
No, you
He
can't.
can be the centerpiece.
No, you can't.
Which is where he was successful. He was most successful
second
doing
in
what?
the
Nigga, he made it to the East. You just made the point. He made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
He made it to the Eastern Conference
I'm
Finals.
just
He
trying
won
to
the Eastern
figure out
Conference
what
Finals. So
point
who did he win with? He won with nobody.
John Collins is nobody, right?
Where's John Collins at right now?
Where's DeJounte Murray also? The Hawks traded multiple first-round picks to get him. Again, there was multiple variations of this Hawks team. Trae Young went through 3 different head coaches, multiple roster changes, and now with the rise of Jalen Johnson, a player that they drafted that had to build himself up in the G League, the Hawks got a rare chance to see how the team operated without Trey, and that offense was looking pretty competent under Jalen Johnson. So right here, I understand where Kenyon Martin just want to avoid certain topics because the players, they do have a blind spot within the media landscape when they talk about other stars and their impact. We all understand that there's a branding component to it and also not fucking up their money. Paul George is another example of a player on his podcast who bigged up Cam Thomas of the Brooklyn Nets, but yet didn't really want to acknowledge that his points per game had no real impact on winning.
So let's go back to the
Come
point
on,
I was trying to make before, right? I'm still confused.
Yeah, he can
Y'all stay confused.
Did Paul George
That's called
when he
moving the
left there, or when he
goalpost. That's
went
called
there?
bury these niggas. Let's go back to moving the goalpost where I
Moving
thought
what?
I had a chance.
Who's moving what? I'm asking you a
I
specific
thought I had a
question.
chance.
Chapter
I'm asking you
19.
We
I'm asking you a
moved.
specific
We
question.
moved from that.
So you said Paul George went down when he went to OKC, but he was not in the MVP conversation when he was in Indiana. But when he went to Oklahoma City, he was in the MVP conversation. So he went down?
Preferred. That's
Trey
right.
Young's preferred places to go to the place that I'm talking about?
The Washington Wizards.
God
But-
damn.
I said that-
Cool.
God
He asked
damn.
our opinion, what we thought.
God damn.
But the thing is,
And he want to go there.
the Wizards.
This ain't got nothing to do with opinion. This nigga want to go to the place I'm talking
It
about.
does go to the pin because it was asked.
Like, that still doesn't mean
But
that.
he's gonna get his bag.
Yeah, I
The
mean, yeah,
Wizards
he'll
have
get
to
his
have
bag,
faith.
but
We were asked if it was a good fit, so we was asked about our opinion. So what are you talking about?
The Wizards being Trey Young's preferred place kind of proves McCann's point.
Yeah, but him going there still doesn't mean that he's gonna.
Now it says now it
Preferred
comes out.
destination.
Now it
I
comes out
want to go
after,
there.
after Josiah asked us our opinion. Now it comes out. So
Yeah.
We want to get
I
paid.
think he can go to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Washington Wizards like he did
Hell
with the Atlanta
no.
Hawks.
right here, guy.
And how far away do you
on,
think
man.
that is from happening?
motherfucker was
Okay, just making.
I'm just saying, based on Nick's
It's
Nick's
facts.
thought process,
It's facts.
so you can
Your thought
do
process,
it.
you want to settle for the Wizards to shoot. That's your thought process. I get it.
He settled for the Atlanta Hawks. He was drafted there. He got them there doing the same shit you talking about.
It kind of says he cares more about his numbers than winning. These are interesting times in the NBA. The landscape right now with the owners setting things up where teams are afraid of hitting the second apron, money seems a bit more scarce than it used to, even though the league just signed a brand new TV deal for almost 3 times the money. It's forcing teams as well as stars to make a lot of tough decisions to either salary dump certain players or even force guys to play in places they normally just wouldn't choose at the prime age of 26, 27, 28. Hopefully for Trey Young, he gets into the gym and kind of bulks up his body a bit, the same way Stephen Curry did to add more versatility to his game.